DGCA plans 48-hour free cancellation window for air tickets. Move aims to ease refund delays and empower passengers. Government clears 8th Central Pay Commission terms. New pay structure expected to take effect from January 2026. China scales back Russian oil purchases after US sanctions. Major state firms cancel shipments as global pressure on Moscow grows. Namaskar, welcome to Habis. I'm Shashira. You are watching Business Talk. Air passengers in India may soon be able to cancel or change their flight tickets within 48 hours of booking without any extra charge. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation has released a draft proposal for this new rule and invited public feedback until November 30. Once approved, it will become official, though the start date is not yet decided. Here is what the new rule means. 48-hour look-in period. After booking, passengers will have 48 hours to cancel or modify their ticket for free if they change their mind. Name corrections can be done within 24 hours and refunds may also be given for medical emergencies. Refund responsibility. Whether you book directly from the airline, a travel agent, or an online portal, the airline will be responsible for issuing refunds within 21 working days. No extra fee for amendments. If you change your flight, you will only pay the fare difference, not a penalty. But this applies only if the flight is at least 5 days away or 15 days away from the booking date. Currently, there is no standard rule like this in India. Airlines charge their own cancellation fees and refund delays are common, especially when tickets are booked through travel agents or portals. The DGCA says this proposal will make air travel fairer and more transparent for passengers. Experts believe it will build customers' trust, though airlines worry it could affect their revenue. Central government has officially approved the terms and members of the 8th Central Pay Commission. The Finance Ministry issued a gazette notification on November 3rd naming Justice Ranjan Prakash Desai as a chairperson, Pankaj Jain as member secretary and Professor Pulak Ghosh as a part-time member. The commission will give it recommendations within 18 months and the new pay structure is likely to take effect from January 1st, 2026. However, based on past experience, the full implementation may take until 2028, meaning employees could receive 17 to 18 months of arrears, either in lump sum or installments. Around 50 lakh central government employees and 69 lakh pensioners are expected to benefit from this new pay structure. Union IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said that while most implementation norms are already well established, the formal process includes an interim report that will confirm when the new pay scales take effect, expected from January 2026. The question is who will benefit? Answer is central government employees, defense personnel, railway staff, teachers in central institutions, employees of 100% government owned PSUs, pensioners. The question is who will not benefit? Answer is state government employees, employees of public sector banks, RBI and other regulatory body staff, bank pensioners. Actually, state governments have their own pay commissions, which usually revise and adopt central recommendations later. Employees of public sector banks do not come under the pay commission since their salaries are decided through bilateral agreements with the Indian Banks Association. The US and its allies have imposed new sanctions on Russia's major oil companies and some of their customers. As a result, China's big state owned oil firms are now pulling back from buying Russian oil. According to Bloomberg, Chinese giants like Sinopec and PetroChina recently cancelled several shipments from Russia after the US targeted two of Russia's biggest oil firms, Rosneft and Lukoil, with sanctions. Some smaller private Chinese refiners known as teapots are also avoiding Russian oil. They fear they could face the same kind of penalties that Britain and the EU recently imposed on Shandong Yulong Petrochemical, another Chinese firm. Earlier, a Reuters report said that India's Reliance industry is adjusting its Russian oil imports based on government guidelines, while state run refiners are also checking their shipments carefully. Bloomberg, citing Rystad Energy, reported that this buyer strike in China has affected about 45% of Russia's oil exports to the country. The biggest impact is on ESPO crude, a popular Russian oil grade sold mostly to Asian buyers. Prices of ESPO crude have fallen. It used to sell for $1 over Brent, but now it's only 50 cents higher as Russian sellers are offering discounts to attract buyers. Several Indian refiners have also stopped buying Russian oil because of the new US sanctions. However, Indian Oil Corporation has resumed buying Urals crude from suppliers not covered by the sanctions. Russia remains China's top oil supplier mainly because its oil is still cheaper than most other after Western sanctions. But the latest restrictions are designed to cut Moscow's oil revenue and pressure it to end the war in Ukraine. Still, it is not all bad news for Russia. The blacklisted Yulong company, dropped by other countries, is now forced to buy Russian oil because it has few alternatives left. The situation became even more complicated after Donald Trump and Xi Jinping met recently. While they discussed trade issues like semiconductors, rare earth metals, and soybean, they avoided the topic of Russian oil altogether. Thanks for watching. Keep watching Habis. Namaskar.